Hello everybody, this is Jason, Colorado Mountain Man Survival. Today I'm going to talk to you about what I keep in my fire starting kit. So out here in front of me I do have several kits. I do carry both these kits in different parts of my pack, and my knives I consider to be part of my fire starting kit. The reason being is I do carry a ferro rod right here and right here on both of my knives. So that way, no matter what happens, I've always got a way to create a fire right here on my knife. This is a medium-sized rod. And then on my larger knife, this is the, a big ferro rod. I guess it's stuck in there a little bit, but it keeps it from falling out. I got myself a nice big rod. I prefer these bigger ones. You'll go big or go home. You can see on here though, I do have this shot cord on both of them. That makes sure that doesn't fall out. This one be hard for that to come out, but this one slides out easier. So if you got an attachment for a ferro rod on your knife, get yourself one of these shot cords to keep it on there. Okay, now we'll go through some of the components that I have in this kit and talk to you a little bit about that. First of all, very simple thing. Everybody knows what a Bic lighter is. I'm all about practical survival. Bic lighter is very practical. The problem with this Bic lighter though, you get a lot of people saying, I don't need to learn how to use any other tool because I have a Bic lighter. Bic lighters are great, but if it gets really cold, this lighter doesn't work. So you need to have other alternatives for starting a fire. Next thing I have right here, this is a live fire emergency fire starter. This is basically the same concept as cotton balls and Vaseline, but what I can do is I pull this out a little bit, fluff this up. This will prolong the life of your lighter, and light that, and now I can get a fire started using that. And then when I want to stop using it, I can just snuff that out and put that away. All right, let's see. Next thing I got here, this is a blast match ferro rod. These things are great. It's got moving parts. Problem with moving parts is that things break. So this is a backup to a backup. The beauty of this is I can do it with one hand and get sparks with one hand. So if I'm injured, one hand's wounded, and I'm having a hard time, I can use this ferro rod to start my fire. And then next thing is I got another ferro rod inside. This one is just a cheap ferro rod. I think these are like $5. It's a softer steel. Very easy to get a fire going with something like this or get some sparks. Great for kids, great for if you don't have a lot of strength. The cheaper rods, you won't get as many sparks off of them, but it throws sparks really well. I think this is the Kuglins, or however you pronounce it. That's one of their ferro rods. I really hate these little attachments. Usually I throw this bit away, or I'll put it, cut it off my ferro rod and just use my knife on this for a spark. Regular match container. I haven't done it yet, but this comes with the stock matches. This is like a cheapo match container. I would recommend dumping out your matches and put in strike anywhere matches. Spend a little extra money on some decent matches, but just it's nice because it's waterproof. Keep your matches dry. Next thing I have is a candle. Candle will again prolong the life of your lighter. You can just start this wick up, use this inside your tinder bundle. You're starting a fire. That way, you can hold that flame rather than holding your Bic lighter to get your fire going. Let's see, as far as tinder goes, one of my favorite bits of tinder that I carry everywhere is cotton balls and Vaseline. Very easy to use, very easy to make. I can make 100 of these for like $2. So all I do is take about 10 cotton balls and throw a tablespoon or so of Vaseline in there, rub it around, and I've got a bunch of easy to start, cheap fire starting. Another thing I carry, this is probably, I think this is 25 feet of paracord. This particular paracord has got fire starting material inside. That red bit of twine I can use for tinder. I would never use this except for maybe in a last resort, but I also like to have the cordage in there so that I can start a bow drill fire. If everything else breaks on me, I've got some cordage that I can make a bow drill with. See, finally in this kit, this is the waterproof wood. So again, if I'm out in the woods and I have a hard time, all the wood's wet, I can use my Bic lighter, start this on fire. This is supposed to be waterproof stuff, so even if it's wet outside, I can get a fire going. So there's that little bit right there. Let's see, do I have anything else in this kit? I keep everything in this nice convenient pouch, but I do carry another kit. This is kind of a backup. Let's see, what do I got in here? I've got, oh, this is my toggle stick, or toggle. When I'm boiling water, I've got the clean canteen, a 40 ounce with a wide mouth. I can just use this, put that inside the canteen, and I can take this and put it down into the fire, so I don't have to reach into the flames. I got some more cotton balls here in this kit, a little button compass. This is like a $10 button compass. I know it's not related to fire, but it's not the greatest compass, but I don't have the money yet to spend on a $50 button compass. More cotton balls. As you can see, I really like these cotton balls. It's definitely my go-to fire starter tinder for when I'm out in the field. Again, very easy. Wet fire tinder. I see these things all over. Everybody raves about this stuff. I find that these are fairly difficult to get going compared to a cotton ball. These do take a little bit of work. Bad thing about these is they do have an expiration date, so I think they're only good for 5 years, and then you throw them out. Cotton balls, you know, big deal. If they do expire, then you just make another one for a penny. Whereas these ones, I think for a package, 12 of them is like $15. So I can have 12 of these for 15 bucks, or 100 cotton balls for $2. You do the math. I just got some basic regular matches. These aren't anything special. I'll probably these probably were from an old kit. I just need to replace these with some Strike Anywhere matches. That's all that's in that pouch. All right, what else do I got in here? Okay, this is a turbo flame lighter. These are very cool. Oh, it's not working right now. Okay, so you probably can't see it, but there's basically a little jet engine flame. These start pretty well when it's windy outside, but again, problem with these lighters, this one will work, I believe, in colder conditions, but at altitude these will not work. For instance, my camp is at 9,400 feet. I cannot get this thing to light. So anybody that thinks that they can just go off into the woods with a couple Bic lighters and be able to get a fire going anytime, they're wrong. You really need to have other ways to get a fire going. Another thing I have are these windproof, waterproof matches. These guys are great as so long as you keep them dry. As soon as they get wet, all this material here just turns into mush and they're worthless. Another thing about these is you got a very short burn time. Get it started here. Okay, you see that? You better have everything ready to get your fire going, because that's it. We've got, what was that, maybe 10 seconds? 10 seconds and we're out of flame. So make sure you got everything ready before you strike that match. Waterproof container, it's always a good thing to have. This is another, like a blast match. This is a mini one. Same thing, great for kids. I can get a flame going with one hand. Again, moving parts, not my favorite having moving parts, but it's a good backup. Another candle, a little tea light candle. These are great things to have in your kit. extend the life of everything else. Nothing else in there except for my more of a primitive style kit. I've got flint and steel in here, some hemp rope. So here's my flint. This one actually broke, but it still works. I can use this to get some sparks. But that little bit of spark on there will get this char cloth going. So what I would do, if I really need a fire going, I don't have great material, I'd take this hemp rope, put the char cloth on there, probably get more rope, more grass, but let me see if I can get this going here. All I need is one little spark off of this rock on here. I don't want to waste my cloth, but there you go, you see that. But that char cloth right there would have ignited this pretty easily, got a flame going. All it took was a little tiny spark off of that that flint and steel to get that going. I'll just snuff that out there. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my fire kit here. Let me talk to you real quick about things to be careful of. I see these cheap waterproof matches. I see them at Walmart all the time. Coughlin's does make some pretty decent stuff. You know, they're lower quality to mid-range, but their matches, their waterproof matches, are junk. I'll end up breaking 30 of these before I get a flame going, so I wouldn't even bother with those. This is the stormproof matches, like the refill that goes into this guy. There's nothing wrong with these except for these refill containers. These aren't meant to get wet. It does come in a little plastic pouch. If you're going to buy these, make sure to refill them, make sure you put them in this kit before you go out in the field. Otherwise, you're going to get these wet and they're going to get ruined. Also, another tool I have here, I just dropped this in water so it's a little bit wet, but this guy here, this is the SA steel, fire steel. It's the same thing as the fire steel that I had for the, I don't know where I put it, but anyways, I use flint and I can get a spark with this, but it also has a little divot in here. This is for my bow drill. The problem with this is you're going to have to wear gloves, because if I'm using this as my bearing block for a bow drill, this steel heats up really fast and you'll burn your hand. I've actually blistered the palm of my hand, so you have to use this with a pair of gloves in order to use it properly. But that's it what I carry in my fire starting kit. Having a fire is very important. Boosts your morale. If you can get a fire going really easily, great. I do carry a lot of stuff because I know the importance of the fire. Plus, being an instructor, I like to be able to show everybody the options that you can have. But you should have, you know, a few different fire starting options. Bic lighter, some tinder, some matches, a ferro rod at the very minimum. If I'm traveling lightweight, all I carry with me is some cotton balls and my ferro rod, and I can get a fire started pretty much anywhere I want. But that's it today. That's all I'm going to talk about with my fire kit. Hopefully you learned something here and you can see what some of us instructors carry. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.